Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Dirty Pat Walsh channel with me, your host, Dirty Pat Walsh. How's it going? It's going good here. Thanks. I want to put a special shout out to Sean Smith because he made the very first comment on when I did I had to miss yesterday doing vlogging and stuff. I'll explain that in a minute, but when you put the vlog I had made that day together with that song, it may seemed like I was pretty depressed or something like that, but that wasn't the case. I'm more just shocked and stunned, you know. But it's all good. It's all good for now. Yeah. So I'm doing a big purge in my room right now. I'm trying to get rid of all the things I've been carting around for 30 years that I don't even pay attention to, but they're sentimental value or whatever. The good news is I'm keeping all my vinyl. I wouldn't ditch my vinyl, and even though I don't have a record player to play it on right now, they're good. They'll always be good. And but I've been going through, I have tons and tons of bags of like Guitar Player magazine. That was really the only magazine I bought that was like a glossy magazine, Guitar Player, because it was the easiest one to understand for me out of all the guitar instructional magazines. And I didn't work well with teachers. I had a teacher for 4 lessons, and he told me to never come back. And yeah, so I always tried to learn from magazines and stuff, but whatever. I'm trying to chuck out these magazines, and I found a bag of old stuff from my artistic past. So I think maybe the next few vlogs, I'm just gonna grab something from it and show it to you. Okay, well, this is the obvious first. Back in the early '90s, throughout the '80s, I'd been a fanzine writer and publisher with Warehouse of Strangers, and when I moved to Peterborough, I kind of stopped. That's when I kind of stopped doing Warehouse of Strangers, when I moved to Peterborough, and I was working on another kind of like a tiny little kind of broadsheet style paper. I'd use 11 by 17 paper and do it up like a newspaper, because it was all what I would do is I get people who are incarcerated around North America in the prison system to write me poems and draw me art and stuff like that. And what I would do is I would put these together in this little paper, and then just mail it back into the prison system. So it was kind of like they could see their work being published, and I'd have copies that I'd pass around out here too, for sure. But it was mostly about prisoner support and stuff like that. I won't go into my politics on the prison system, but that's what I was doing at the time. And now, when I moved to Peterborough, it's funny, it didn't. I was getting serious about writing. Like one of the reasons I moved to Peterborough was to pursue and kind of fine hone my craft of writing for songs and for the theater, and doing it how I wanted to do it, and I knew I could do that here. So when I moved here, kind of a, I guess kind of a, this is long before the internet, right? So kind of a trend with writers in town they'd make little, there was a lot of poets, right? So they'd make little staple books of their poetry, and and there would be poetry readings, like not the poetry slams or anything. They'd be like, nice peaceful, quiet poetry readings, and people would have, the feature writer would have a little chapbook to give out or whatever. And so I got really into the poetry scene when I first moved here. And I published a bunch of little chapbooks. And I think this is them in their complete form. Okay, the first one, this one I wrote when I was in Oakville. But I published it when I got to Peterborough. My writing style is like I write kind of like, it's like poetry, but like one of these books is full of like a million little segments, right? And some are long and some aren't, whatever. But it's all intended to be one, like the book is like to be read like a story, right? So I have a pretty weird abstract writing style. But this one is called The Dead Plant Poems, and I wrote this in 1992. Probably wrote it in 1991. And, yeah, so this is my first one. I'm not going to read from any of these, because this is poetry I did back in the early 90s. But I got to look through them first. So, but, yeah, so I got that one. And the next one, I think these are all in chronological order. I'll fix them if they aren't. This one is this one was the first one I published when I was embedded in the poetry scene in Peterborough, and it's called Empty Pocket Marching Song. And that's a little taste of my artwork there. I don't know if there's any. Oh, there is something more. A little bit of my artwork there, and that's art. Yeah, whatever. This is a book of poetry I published in 1993. Yeah, 1993 was a big year for these things. A lot of people did them. It wasn't just me doing them. Everybody was doing them. This one is probably my favorite one. It's called Body of Insurrection. And it's a really small little thing. It's a really easy read. But this one, out of all of them, this is the one I think is the best. So you could even kind of string them all together, if like take all these books and put them into one, because they were all written within the same year. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll edit them down and publish them as one complete work. That might be cool. This one is called Justice in 5-Part Harmony, and I put this out in 1993. It's getting fancy with the color, in like the first, you know what I mean, the first page. White pages here, and have like this is like a nice textured kind of sandy brown color. I don't know, whatever. And this one's really a real lo-fi, just Xerox one staple, called The Living in Your Own Sick Theory. And I know I wrote this when I was quite upset about something, but I don't know what. It's very small. Yeah, I felt I had an important thought that I had to share. So, like I said, this is pre-internet days, right? This one is a compilation of my friends Philip Kummel and Craig Anderson, who are also big people, in the poetry scene, very active people. And we put out a book called Phil Kummel actually put out this book, and it's called Poets 3, which I've never liked that title, but it is what it is. And it's actually got like the first page kind of thing. I folded in just to keep it safe, but that's how it's supposed to look, So whatever. Phil was a weirdo. He's cool. He's a cool guy. Goes by the name of Pip in Hamilton now, and I've always admired his writing a lot. But yeah, this is a book the three of us did. This is a book. This is a book that me and Phil wrote. I wrote the first half, and he wrote the second half. And Phil named it this crazy name of 200 feet of dump truck full. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one. I haven't read this in a long time, but as you can see, 1993, big year for poetry. Oh, and this one, okay, this one was kind of an anthology of all the people who did these kind of books. We all got together and did one book together. Everybody got a couple pages, and so yeah, like that's see, that's like how many people are in there, and yeah, this is a cool book. It's got a lot of people there. There was a lot of diversity in people's writing, right? Like it was a really cool time. On this book, okay, I worked when I moved to town. I volunteered at this place called the Union Theater, and we did we did underground theater, and a lot of it was theater that we wrote. And I should make a complete separate video about the Union. But this is a play I got, or a book I got published when the Union closed. 6 of us were chosen as we were chosen from a bunch of writers by the people who put out this book. It's a publishing company called Ordinary Press in Peterborough. It's run by the Cultural Studies program up at Trent University, I think, or someone from that program runs it. I think that's more like it. Yeah, so I got three of my plays published, and it's just like a little staple book. But this one's the actual big Canadian library. I don't know what it's called, but this is a library book. My crazy plays, and all of these plays were written in 1993 probably as well. So yeah, so that's the first thing from the bag. There's a lot of crap in here, so got some stuff to talk about, I guess. This other thing flew out. This is a gig I don't even remember. The Toronto Blues Society put us on at the Lula Lounge in Toronto. I totally do not remember it at all. October 23rd, 2003. Now, that's an old picture of the band. Like, that's actually the band. It's a gang of people, eh? And I can't remember where I am. I'm like, I don't know where I am. I'm somewhere. Oh yeah, I'm in the back here. I'm in the back, right there. But yeah, this was a gig that we did for the Toronto Blues Society, and cool. All right. Anyhow, just doing another random ass vlog, and I hope you're all good and well, and having a great day. Thanks for all your comments. The comment section has been awesome, and I really appreciate all your support and all that you give me here in the great YouTube experience. All right, be well, stay free, and have an awesome day. Bye now.